Hello? Check it 1, 2.
Check. A Vicky Vale. I don't know what that was.
Welcome to That's Dope.
The podcast where we talk about stuff that's dope. And today we're going to have I'm going to stop saying very special. I need to find some kind
I was thinking of like, he's going to say it.
I need to improve my vernacular just a bit. My English teachers must be so disappointed in me because I have started every episode the exact same. What's another word for very special?
Great. It's come from the guy who studied SAT words for the GRE.
That's 800 verbal score right there. Right there. Yes, ladies and gentlemen.
I thought so. That's why I'm in grad school now.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, we got a great episode today.
We do, indeed.
We're going to be talking about things that we're grateful for because we have a lot to be grateful for. It's Thanksgiving time, and, you know, it's always a good time to be grateful and thankful, right?
You know, and I think we've done a pretty good job so far of keeping up with a lot of the holidays. Might as well let the train keep going. You know, we've had our Valentine's Day episode. Last year we had that Christmas special, you know. Might as well keep it going. Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
I like the idea, yeah.
So I guess today, since we are in that mood of just being thankful, why don't we have just a quick discussion on some of the music, some of the games, and some of the television shows and anime that we're really thankful for.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, some of the things that have really impacted us as people.
In our whole lives, right?
Definitely.
Okay, cool. All right. I guess I'll go first then, right?
Go for it, dude.
Okay. So, like a song that I listen to like almost every day, which I'm just so grateful for because it just sort of encapsulates everything that I'm thinking about is Black Sands. I've talked about Black Sands so many times already, or at least twice.
Black Sands by Bonobo, right?
Yeah. And it's like the whole album's great, you know, like it goes from like really funky to technologic and really weirdly. It's a weird album, you know, like it feels like it doesn't really fit too well together, but it works out. But the song that I'm talking about is Black Sands, and that song just gets me. Like I've listened to it 200 times now.
Dang.
Yeah, like this year, I would imagine, honestly.
That's impressive.
And I always restart to the middle. Like I listen to the song fully, and then before the song ends, I restart to the middle. And I just wanted to show a shout out, I guess, because like I am so grateful for this song because it's a song that doesn't make me feel like mopey sad. It's a song that allows me to think. Like when I'm sad, this is my go-to song because like it allows me like sort of crunch the problem, you know. It sort of gives me like it puts my mind in like a sort of like blank state, but it allows me to like think, you know. Like some songs will make you like fall asleep. This song gives me like a sort of canvas to work up my problems in a way, and it's just so beautiful and moving, you know. And the way that the song moves you, it moves me at least to a point where it's like you're going to fix the problem by the end of the song, you know. It's sort of like meditation to me. It puts me in a zen-like state where I don't feel so sad, and I feel a lot happier by the time I finish the song. And then I listen to it again just because it's so beautiful and moving. And I've listened to it 200, 300 times by now, and I intend to keep on listening to it. It's just so great.
No, you know, and it's interesting because that's a song that doesn't necessarily have any words.
Yeah.
You know, there aren't any lyrics that you can sing along to.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a series of instruments, essentially.
Exactly.
But it's like, and I get it, you know, because, you know, I guess one of my picks also doesn't have any words in it either as far as songs go.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Apotheosis by Austin Wintory. Off of the Journey soundtrack. You know, very similar feelings with both of our songs in the sense that they're both songs that don't necessarily have words, but they almost are segmented into various parts. You know, I feel like yours, whenever you listen to Black Sands, you end on like a really happy note. Right?
Not really happy note,
Not
but like,
necessarily
yeah,
happy, but for me, listening to Apotheosis off of the Journey soundtrack gives me like a very cathartic feeling.
Yeah, I think that's really like the feeling I really wanted to convey.
And you know, like it's interesting because, like you mentioned, like it's one of those tracks that you just listen to kind of clear up some of the things that are on your mind, you know, and can give you a little bit of clarity and just give you that release that you really need. And that's the same way I feel whenever I listen to Apotheosis off of the Journey soundtrack. specifically because it starts off pretty somber and pretty slow, because usually whenever I throw it on, whenever I really need it, is whenever I'm in one of those moods where I am very tired and very it's a very tiring and very low point usually whenever I really need that song. And then the next part of the song is just so uplifting. It's one of those things where it gradually just builds, and it's just these peaks that just kind of build on top of each other as the song goes and goes. And that part just makes you like gradually like picks your spirits up, and you literally feel yourself being lifted up whenever you listen to the song. Like I don't know if that's true for everybody, but I can literally feel like my spirits being lifted up whenever I just lose myself to that song.
I agree. Honestly, I love that song. I still listen to that song a lot myself.
Yeah. And I just at the end, it's like it builds and builds, and at the very end it becomes very bare bones. It's very minimalist at the end. And it's just so slow and so emotional. And it's just one of those things where it feels like, for me at least, it's like that last bit that you need to just let go of whatever you have left, so you can just enter again clean. Like, I don't know how else to describe it.
That was a perfect description, honestly.
That's, And I'm getting emotional talking about a song.
I'm feeling the goosebumps underneath my clothes right now.
That's so ridiculous. And, it's cool, and Black Sands definitely gives me those similar vibes, That's really cool.
I would like to say one more song, like a song that gives me like sort of the opposite. Is "I Can't Stop" by Flex Pavilion. Right? Like, this song has words, obviously, although the same 3 words. I can't stop. 3 words.
I mean, it's a contraction.
Yeah, right.
It's like, I cannot stop.
Right. You didn't make a remix like that, yeah.
It's just a British voice, like, I cannot stop.
Keon needs to get on this, right? And for me, this is like my sensu bean, right? Where it's like every time I feel like I'm dead, I'm tired, I'm just like, oh my god, I don't want to do anything, But it's like I'm in the middle of something, or I need to get started with something. Usually I'm in the middle of something. I put this song on and I just get pumped up, and it's just like there's a reason I can't stop, And then like the image that always comes to mind whenever I listen to a song is One Piece, honestly. Like or no spoilers, but like this Luffy is fighting like one of the big bosses. He gets a new power. So that's all I'll say about that. But like I just think about that because like Luffy was about to like bite the bullet, and then he just sort of got a revelation, and he's like, I can't stop for my crew, and I was just like, yeah. So then that's the image that comes to my head, and I was like, I can't stop too. I got to keep on going hard. I'm gonna keep going. And the song is so simple, word wise, lyric wise, but like I don't know, it moves me somehow, You pointed this at EDM, and I was thinking about showing like some of my coworkers this, and I was like, no, this is too weird. They can't be used. They wouldn't be used to this. But it's still a song that like I'm proud of, a song that like I like a lot.
Yeah. And it's nice always to have those hype tracks, those tracks you listen to and you're just like, yeah, I'm ready to go and kill it today. Definitely, especially since me, like I work in sales, and one of the biggest things with my career specifically is that first hour is so critical. So just like you, I got that hype playlist,
Yeah.
I think that's one of the songs that's on there, because you just have to have those songs that just make you go, just a snap of the finger, and all of a sudden you're just about and you're ready, because you have to walk in, you have to go and kill it, So I totally get that. You need to have your hype songs.
And also, every time I hear this song when we're playing Smash, like,
right,
I go Super Saiyan.
Super Saiyan.
Like, this makes me want to go stomp people and Falcon Punch everybody. So
definitely. My second pick is a little bit more somber. It's more along the lines of whenever I'm having just like not necessarily like going through like a lot of stuff. A lot of like, I guess not necessarily whenever I'm going through like a really bad deal, but whenever I just feel like there's just a lot of pressure and a lot of weight in general, and I'm kind of in the dumps. And I always throw the song whenever I'm just driving along alone. I put the song on, and it's Streetlights by Kanye West. Oh. And it's such a simple song, there aren't too many words to it.
Yeah, words that Kanye says.
But it just kind of puts things in perspective, It kind of puts things in perspective because what he says, it might not sound very uplifting or whatever, but it's one of those songs that I listen to and it feels personal. Like it feels personal in the sense that he's almost saying, you know, like you're going through stuff and I am too. And that's just kind of how life is.
Yeah.
But you just got to keep going.
That's a really good point.
You know, and I like that. I liked it a lot. You know, it's my go-to. And I know whenever I feel sad, I listen to that. And also, I guess my last song is by Sublime. It's What I've Got.
I haven't heard the song.
You haven't heard What I've Got? Okay.
I don't think so.
Really great song by Sublime. I really like the acoustic version a lot. It's just so positive. Like the entire song basically is this dude talking about all of his problems. He's painting like a really, really just like dismal life, you know. But he's so upbeat and so optimistic either way, you know. And it's just one of those songs that, like, especially when I was like really depressed, I listened to that song a lot because it would help me like kind of get out of that funk, at least just for a little bit, you know. And so yeah, definitely
that's really good.
Those two songs.
Okay.
Really
with Street Lights for me, like that's the song where it's like, I'm sad. I want to be more sad. Let's put this like I don't know. Like every time I listen to Street Lights, it makes I want to get more sad with it.
No, I get it, but it's for me, it's weird because it's like I sometimes need that mood music. You know what I mean? Whenever you're going through certain things, and Street Lights for me, like that's just. It's humbling in its own way.
You never hear Kanye doing that. I love Kanye, but you know
he's not very humble dude.
Right. It definitely is. It's really nice to see that side of Kanye. You know, I feel like he's been really dehumanized, and it's really cool to see that sort of personal side.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
most definitely.
That's really cool, actually. Okay, so I guess we're gonna get started with another type of media, TV shows or anime.
Dude, it's your call.
All right, cool. I want to do anime. I want to do anime. Right? Oh boy. And I'm not going to talk about One Piece.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not. Although I have two that I would like to talk about. Do you have any animated or?
I have an animated show.
Okay, so I'll do one. Then you do one. Okay, cool. So my first one is something I just watched this like last month or so, and I've been talking with Josh so freaking much about Hunter x Hunter. Oh my god, I didn't think I would love this show so much, but I loved it. Like it's you know, I heard people talking about it for a long time. I was like, well, I don't want to watch another 100 thing episode, you know,
100
episode
thing
thing.
episode.
100 episode thing. Yeah, I don't know. But and like I heard people talking about it, and I was just like, maybe I'll get around to it, you know. Maybe once I'll catch up with One Piece, I'll do it. Well, I caught up with One Piece, and One Piece is going through a slow part right now, but it's still good. But I was like, you know, I have time. Let me watch this show. And I watched it, and oh my god, I was gonna cry, but I was at work, and so like I couldn't. And so the show is about this boy who wants to be something great called a hunter. Hunters are like the top echelon of people, and they have like the resources to do whatever their heart desires, you know. And he's this young boy, and he's not letting anything stop him. You've heard that story before. Like, yeah, I'm going to do whatever I want to do because I'm 12 and whatever, you know, whatever, you know. And everyone's like, whatever, you know. But this boy puts in a lot of effort. You know, first of all, he's talented. And I learned a lot from the show. You know, it's like the first thing is like talent can only get you so far. You have to work at it constantly. And a lot of the show is this boy going, training constantly, you know, and, you know, to do time lapses of him training, you know, and he's just training. And even when he trains that hard, he's still not there. He actually loses quite a bit in this show. And it's amazing, honestly, you know, it's like, whoa, I've never seen a show do that. You know, usually the protagonist always wins somehow, you know, I got to believe in myself right? Or my friend got hurt and I got to believe in myself more, you know, honestly, like the show is like, no. You'll get your shit eaten if you don't work at it, you know. And people you don't expect to die. And it's just like, wow, yeah, it's crazy. 2, intelligence is what wins a lot of these battles, you know. Like, in fact, all these battles. Intelligence and, like, what you know and also, like, what you see on the battlefield or, like, what you know about your opponent. You know, strategy is what wins the battles, you know. You don't see anyone going headstrong like I'm gonna go I'm a army of one. No, none of that here, and it's amazing. You know, the battles, if there are any battles, usually they last for 15 minutes. In fact, like usually the first season there wasn't like any fighting. No fighting. It was all about intelligence. It's like, how can I outwit my opponent? And it was so intelligent. And some like the big battles in the show, like they last for 10 minutes tops. Big battles. They're like, yeah, like you think about Dragon Ball Z, that went for.
Dude, it took him like 8 episodes
right.
to charge that spirit bomb, right. Throw it, and for it to be like, nah, I'm still alive.
Right, exactly. None of that here, And also, like, if you get punched, it hurts. It is like, okay, I'm gonna go lay down right now. Like it's crazy, like how. Like, like sort of realistic. I mean, of course, not realistic, but
I have to ask, dude, is this on Netflix? Because I really
yes,
want to watch
it
this.
is actually. It's on Netflix.
Well, I might go hit that up right after.
It is so good. And then finally, like everyone who's seen the show knows exactly what I'm talking about. But like the ending, like the last arc, or the second last arc, technically, the Chimera Ant arc is honestly one of the best things I have ever seen, ever. Like it is so good. It's like, wow. Especially the last episode.
So it ends well.
Oh my god, so well. Like I this is the thing that was going to make me cry, and it made a lot of other people cry. But I was at work, and I had to keep stopping it because people keep coming in. Worst day to watch it, but like
sounds horrible,
right? So, but like I would have cried if I had watched it continuously. And then like one of the coolest things happens, but you don't want it to happen. You watch a show, you understand what I'm talking about. It is such a good show. So like I learned these things, and it's like, okay, if I have the talent, to do what I want to do in life, but I have to work at it a lot, and I just keep that in my mind constantly. It's like, okay, I got to work, I got to train, I got to do what I can to make whatever I want possible. So yeah, Hunter x Hunter.
Dang,
That's the 2011 one. I haven't seen the old version, but. Yeah.
For me, I guess it's cheating. I'm obviously not as well versed in anime as you are.
Yeah.
But I do have an animated show that has legitimately, and everyone knows what show this is. I've raved about this show so many times, but it's worth stating. Avatar: The Last Airbender. My God. I know, huge plot twist. I know, but the reason I'm thankful for it, honestly, is because it's one of those shows. I think it might be the only show actually that I've seen that after I was finished watching it, I was legitimately a better person.
Yeah.
It's one of those shows where it's so simple. Like here's the thing. A lot of people, like a lot of different shows. A lot of people seem to really opt for like really convoluted pieces of media that are when you dive down are very simple. But Avatar is kind of the reverse, which is why I love it so much, is because it's pretty simple on the surface, like just a kid's show, right? But then when you actually dive into it and you actually explore like, I guess, some of the certain concepts and like where certain things were influenced, etc., and you understand like how deep the show goes, it's baffling and it's just so beautiful. And the thing I think that Avatar really impacted me on was the concept of balance. It's something that I'm still working on myself personally. It's not like I watched Avatar and all of a sudden I was perfect.
I am the Avatar. I am now balanced. I can control all the elements now.
No, but like in Avatar, you follow the character of Aang, and he has, even though he's so powerful, he has like all these like little issues and these blocks that he just needs to figure out. He has to find balance within himself so that he can actually become the person that the world needs him to be. And it's so inspiring and so beautiful to watch the journey of him actually growing as he's just learning so much from the world and the people around him. And I remember finishing the show and thinking about where this goofy little kid started and where he finished. And not just him, he's like one of the, even though it follows him mostly, I think about like characters like Zuko, like where they start and how they end up,
that was a wonderful trip.
And I think about that and just how life can just have like these ridiculous, peaks and valleys and how frustrating it can be. But in the end, if you can find yourself and you can find that balance within you, then that's how you can become who you need to be. And to me, that just speaks volumes, and it's just so inspiring. And I try to just, I hope like one day I can just be on that level. Like I really do, because it really is like the key to life. I feel like the key to happiness, it's not money or anything like that. It's just balance.
Yeah,
It's being able to
so true.
to balance everything. And it's easier said than done for sure, because life can be a crazy juggling act while you're like, trying to juggle like 60 different things while on a freaking unicycle. But I feel like, like Avatar is one of those shows that kind of helped put things in front of me, and it gave me some clarity and showed me some really important things to focus on.
That's really good. I like that. Definitely Avatar is like one of the best shows out there.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's so different from American cartoons. It's surprising that Nickelodeon did something like this.
I know.
Especially like when they were in the beginning of their decline, I guess.
Oh, most definitely. And I cannot thank I cannot thank anyone who was involved in that show enough.
Exactly.
And not just me, like my extended family as well. But I don't want to get into that either. But that might be a different podcast.
Different episode. Okay. We gotta meet those guys sometime soon. All right. So the other show that I wanted to talk about, Gurren Lagann.
Of course.
Yeah, right.
What a surprise!
Oh, I mean, I could talk about One Piece, but I didn't. Right. Like some people, but right. I think I went differently, but One Piece. Oh wait, I mean Gurren Lagann. But Gurren Lagann, I've talked about this show a lot already, and like I think I'll keep singing its praises, because it's one of the shows that like has really truly inspired me. In fact, the Facebook page is like blowing up right now about it, and I love it. But the thing about Gurren Lagann for me was like this was one of the first things I saw when I got to college. So like I have like really good memories with it because my roommates were great, and it was just a good time watching it. Back to carefree times when I could watch anime. I had time to watch anime just normally. It's about this boy and the journey that he goes to become a man, and I saw so many parallels between him and me. In fact, I still do. Where a lot of people don't believe in you to make things work out. But you're fortunate because you have good people that are looking out for you, that do want to see you succeed, and then eventually you start believing in yourself and that you can do that, through like those good people that are placed in your life, and then you go on to do great things, and it's such a beautiful show to me. It was quick. It was very different in a way. I mean, like it followed like many tropes, that other shows and anime have followed, of course. But it takes a huge turn, that catches everyone by surprise. It makes me cry every time I see it. And no, not as much anymore, but but anyways, it just resonated so much with me because I see myself as that sort of main character who's going through his own journey, and I have so many great people in my own life that are pushing me to be great, when I don't see the greatness in myself, I mean, I'm starting to now, but these people have pushed me to expect more, do better, to reach the stars and go beyond that, and I'm grateful for that message that the show has given me, and also especially for the people around me in this current real life that have pushed me to want to do better, to do more. And good stuff.
That's good, man.
Yeah,
that's really good.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So I guess from here, why don't we shift it and talk about games for a bit?
Okay,
right?
Cool. I have actually quite a few games, but no, I'll only talk about two, okay. Maybe three.
Excellent.
Okay, cool. Okay, so the first one I want to talk about is Tenkaichi Budokai. Yeah, right. Yeah,
very interesting choice. But
right?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, like it's not a good game, overall, honestly, but I have like really good memories with this. I beat it like in 6 hours, with my brother. But this game was special to me because it reminds me of like one of my favorite Christmases. Mm-hmm. Like the whole family was together, my mom, dad, brother, me, and my sister was a baby, I think, at the time. Yeah. And we got a PS2 for Christmas. Oh my gosh.
Hype.
And then it was really good to me because it reminds me of the time when the whole family was together. We played the games together. We the feeling of being together was real. It was palpable, and I loved it. And I guess like also seeing that game, honestly, like it was cool because we got through that game so quickly. and like we mastered it like so quickly, and it reminds me of like a sort of happier time. Like it really impacted me. I don't really, I can't say like it gave me like any great stories or anything like that, but it just sort of impacted me in that sort of simple way, where it's like everyone's together and we're playing this game, even though it's not really that great of a game and it was super quick and super short. I had a great time with it.
No, I get it. And sometimes it's not necessarily about the game itself so much as the experiences that are associated with it, you know, which kind of comes with my next pick. I'm not sure if you're going to talk about this game either, but honestly,
probably not.
Thinking about it, I have to talk about Metal Gear Solid.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That's a
I
really
have to
good
talk
one.
about Metal Gear Solid. So I guess something that most of the folks listening don't know is that I have the best group of friends in the world. I really do. I legitimately do have the best group of friends in the world. Like I think about it sometimes, and I just can't believe I'm so blessed to have so many great people.
I think the same thing too. I was gonna say something in the end, but
one of the ways that we all kind of banded together, so to say, was Godswill started hosting a Metal Gear Solid night, and it was for noobs like me who had never played the game before, never really seen it, never knew what it was about. And basically, it started out as just a group of guys just meeting up on a random day of the week and just watching one of us play a video game and then just eating food. Yeah. But throughout the course of us playing through those games, throughout those next series of months, I ended up finding, I guess, like, just such an incredible group of people. Like, it's weird. Like, my entire life, for a good chunk of my life, I've been kind of like a floater. Like I kind of had people who were like my go-to people, but I never really had anything concrete. It just seemed like I'd do things for a little bit with one group, and I'd be like, yeah, we're friends, right? Oh, wait, you guys all went to go and hang out in so-and-so's place without me, and you guys don't invite me to whenever you do things, and we only sit together at lunch. Okay, that's cool, I guess. But this, I don't know how, and it's ridiculous when I think about it, but it's like that set of video games and the experiences that we had and how we bonded as people. And after some time, it wasn't even about the game anymore. It was just about going to see, your closest friends so consistently. That was just some of the best times I've ever had, honestly. And like, I'm still friends with these guys today. It's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy. When did we even start playing those games? In 2000, we started playing the games around the time that we started with the podcast.
2013, yeah.
It was 2013 that we started the game, and it's like we've all been such great friends, and our group has just kind of grown since then, and we've incorporated even more great people. And it's just, I think that game, like, the game is amazing. The games are all amazing, especially 3 and 4. Those are my favorites. So good. But
it was about the experience.
It was about the experience, and it was about
the people who came.
The people, and I guess finding like a group of people that I could legitimately call family.
So touching. Yeah. I like that. No, definitely. That I hadn't even thought about that. I don't know why. That's horrible. But yeah, no, most definitely. Like,
I was just like, yeah, man, I just really wanted 100% that game,
right?
Man.
Y'all got me
so long,
Right. Y'all got me my trophies, right?
And I did like the food that you guys made, so.
Right. No, it was a great time, and definitely I wish we could do something like that again.
Yeah, man.
But sure. We're all getting busy and old and crap, but hopefully we can keep it up. Yeah.
And it's nice because even if we're so busy, like, I like the fact that somehow we managed to find some time for each other. You know?
Most definitely. Like, just these moments where we come back all together.
And I think it's because maybe we don't see each other as much as we do these days, is why I cherish those memories and that so much.
Yeah, that's sad. Shoot. Yeah, I guess.
Sorry, didn't mean to be a
No. Honestly, like, that's sort of like the reason I chose. I guess I like a lot of games. I did, or like not a lot, but a lot of things I did. Let me give a quick one. Like,
I have another game too.
Okay, cool. Because I have 3.
Oh, okay.
Okay, cool. But I'll try to keep them quick.
All right, cool.
But the second one that I would like to talk about is Demon's Souls. All right.
Demon's Souls.
Yeah, Demon's Souls.
Yeah. I don't know if anybody's thankful for.
I am. Like honestly, I feel like a man for after doing it. Yeah.
I mean, it's a great game for sure. I've just told it's just notoriously difficult.
It is. Like honestly, like I didn't feel like I got the game until I got halfway through the game, and I was like, it was so hard because anything can kill you. Honestly, anything can kill you. Like in the beginning, like honestly, like foot soldiers are killing you. And it's horrible. It's just like, oh my god. And then like they kill you before you get to touch your souls again. So you lost all your your currency. So you're like, what can I do? I can't afford any more health items. So then the only thing you can do is just get better so you don't get hit. Because if you get hit, you need health items. But you have to buy health items. That's the only way you can get them, pretty much,
Dang.
Yeah.
Don't get hit.
And they're expensive too. And especially in the beginning, It was hard, man. And then the bosses, oh my god. Like they were so hard. And then like I remember finding like the shield that sort of gave me a regenerative boost, and that was when I finally got the game because I was rolling, I was parrying, Anyways, the reason why I want to say this game is for two reasons. One, it's because like it was so difficult and like getting through that. Honestly, that was such a challenge, and it felt honestly like a rite of passage in a way where it's like I'm a true man in the sense for beating this video game. But something that like it was so hard and I wanted to give up on many times. It was like there's so many games I could play. Why play this? I did it. Like I got through this. It just took a lot of just doing it. Biting the bullet. Getting said no to so many times. To the point where you can do it. Even like when I did get the game at the end, the final boss just kept beating me. But then you just had to be like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. And I didn't do anything cheap. There was one time I did something cheap, but that was totally accidental. The boss just was dumb and he couldn't get me. That was a hard boss, but I just found a spot where I could just stay. Anyways, but like the last boss, I felt like I went mano-a-mano with him, and it was good. The second reason is because when I was beating it, like I just had some really good times hanging out with Ka and also Ka and Sam. I beat it July 5th. And the reason I remember that is I went to watch fireworks with Sam, Ka, and my sister and Ka's sister, and then we dropped the girls off home, and me, Sam, and Ka came back to my place, and we just stayed up, beat the game. And it was such a good time because like the whole time we're just chilling. It was just sort of good times. I remember like when I was getting close to beating the game, the first time with Ka. We just stayed up, and honestly, like we stayed up till like 7 a.m. talking about old school cartoons. Yeah, while I was beating the game. It was just a good time. It was just really the good time, the sort of bonding, meant a lot to me somehow, And then also I've had great times throughout the years. Every time I put it back in, it's just like, okay, this is such a hard game. And I hung out with Zlatan doing it. I hung out with my brother doing it. And it was just good times. It was a scary game, but I liked it a lot.
No, definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, that Demon Souls.
Demon Souls. That's
good of all things to choose, right?
What else? You mentioned you had a couple.
The last one I did want to talk about is Yu-Gi-Oh. I forgot what the whole title is, but it's on the PS1. And the reason I chose this game, I didn't even play this game. This was the game my brother played. My brother only played 2 games. Otherwise, he would always watch me play games. And I always liked that, but he would only play Madden, and he would play he only play sports games really, And then Madden was his number one, of course, and then this game, Yu-Gi-Oh, And I like it because it let me see a side of my brother that he doesn't show too often. Sort of like how your brother doesn't really like to be like the nerd in a sense,
even though he totally is.
Yeah, exactly. My brother is that same way too, Although also at the same time he's not, But it was cool because it was. My brother, he's a meathead, and here I got to see the strategic, nerdy side of him. Like he was the best Yu-Gi-Oh player on the street, And he, right, yeah, right. And he,
that's something you throw on the resume,
right? Exactly.
Hey, baby, I don't know if you heard, but when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh, I run these streets.
Right. It was funny. I remember. I'll never forget. Like watching it. It was a cold November day, and we're all on the sidewalk playing Yu-Gi-Oh, and he's just beating the kids on the street. I was just like, "That's my brother." But, like in this game, like he's playing it, and there's always this one guy who always stomps us, which makes me so mad. I want to beat him still, but it's so cool seeing my brother be this cool sort of nerdy side. And also it was a really cool bonding experience because every time we played it, we talked while in between the card games. And it was just me and him going through it, although it was him going through it, And it was sort of a reversal in the sense where he'd always be watching me play games. This time I got to watch him play a game, and I loved it. So yeah, good times.
No, definitely, And I guess it's cool kind of that you mentioned how, you got to see a different side of your brother. And it was like, even though, you guys seemed like different people in those moments, you kind of were able to bond. Mm-hmm. That's how, I guess, the last game that I'm thankful for. And this should also be no surprise.
Like, what could it be?
No surprise. I understand that we did an entire podcast about the franchise, but specifically Super Smash Bros. For the Nintendo 64.
Not Melee? No, I'm kidding.
Hey, I love Melee. Hey, I love Melee. I love Melee. I'm learning it right now. And that game is so...
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm not going to say a word about Brawl. But yeah, Smash Bros. Is... an interesting game, and that's kind of like a hybrid of how my choice is based on my experiences outside and within the game itself. The game itself, I correlate that game with a lot of really great times for sure. Really great times. These days, like I feel like there's. Even though my brother and I, like, if you took away everything, we'd be like pretty similar people, I guess, with just different mindsets on outlooks on the world. I feel like kind of like every now and then I feel like my brother and I, like the distance between us is like steadily growing. Like we're still close, but I just feel like how different we are to the point where it's like I don't think I could hang out with my brother more than like 3 days in a row, and that's pushing it. But the one thing that no matter like what our lifestyles are, what our choices might be, how we choose to carry ourselves, how we choose to look at the world, the one thing that we have in common, and honestly, I legitimately think that for the rest of our lives we will have in common, is our ferocity and passion for this game.
Oh, yeah, you guys go in.
We go so hard. It's one of those things where Goku literally we can, it is like Goku and Vegeta. It really is. We're so different, but we're just united by just the love of this game. And it is, a lot of it is about like, just like, how much we love just playing the game, for sure. But it's also like I correlated more so with the fact that like we can just kind of set aside everything just to play the game. And not only that, like my entire family, like the way that I got good at the game is specifically because I always had like rivals within the family, my cousins in Seattle at first, and then, Tom Shaw later, these kinds of things. And even when we went to Chicago super recently. And, like seeing Chicago was great and all. And I had a fantastic time going out. The nightlife was fantastic. Had a good time seeing my cousins. But if I had to like correlate like some of the best times, it was playing Smash Bros. With my family, and partially that's because of the game, but it's also because of who I'm spending it with. And it's one of those games where I feel like I've connected and bonded and had so many good times with that game and various amounts of people, be they within my family or within my friends group. And I love that game for that. But another reason why I'm really thankful for, and this is actually something that I guess was brought to light more recently, is because Smash Brothers has kind of affected my outlook on the world. It sounds weird, I know. But it's also kind of given me a benchmark. And I legitimately think that it's one of those reasons why, like, I think the way that I do, and I think it might attribute to, like, why I guess I do well at things, There's a process for getting good at Smash Bros, and I find it really similar to that process of getting good at skills in general. And I guess Smash Bros is one of those things that put in that competitive drive in me. It was one of those things where it showed me that if I was willing to apply myself to some kind of a skill, and I put in the work, then I could see the results. And for that, I have to thank the game. Like, I really legitimately do. And it's so close to my heart, as a previous podcast will illustrate. And I legitimately don't think I'd be the same person if it wasn't for this game.
That's really cool, actually. I think it's so cool, like, how we all play it, like, even like after parties, where it's like, all right, so let's do an after party recap.
Somehow it's like, let's chill out for a bit, but then it gets so hype.
Honestly, so like we've had some great times.
Had some great times.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, those were like ironically, video games have brought us closer together to
Yeah,
like all of our stories.
And it's funny, there's a lot of talk like technology is throwing us and dividing us, but
and I agree with that somewhat, but
it's comforting and refreshing to show how some of these games, be they one-player games or be they multiplayer games, can actually unite people. And I love it for that.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Honestly, I mean, yeah, it's really cool. Well, yeah, definitely. Like as you were saying before, like I'm really grateful for this friend group. Foxhound.
Yeah.
I actually have a lot of things I'm grateful for. And like
Definitely.
I'll probably make my standard my standard Facebook post of what things I'm grateful for. But like there's a lot of things. And so I'm very grateful for this friend group, for having my back. Honestly, like they've helped me. You guys have helped me, do some amazing, great things. I never thought that I'd be able to do. And here's my crew. I always say One Piece, but you guys are my, the crew. That has helped me, do amazing things. And always had my back. Even times when I thought I was a jerk. Or it's like, I don't need friends right now. You guys have always allowed me to have like my flexibility. Yeah, I appreciate you guys like not getting on my back. Like when I'm too busy. It's like, oh, guys, I was busy. Okay, and that's it. So I'm also really grateful for, I guess, like the sort of success I've gotten at UTD. Like I never thought that I would do that. I remember before I went to college, I think I was in high school or maybe in middle school. I was watching Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. And one dude came down and like he had a crew of people cheering him on, and yeah, just like a pretty big crew, like that was inside the crowd, like he was from some college. I don't remember what college he was, but like he was talking to Regis Philbin, and he was like, oh, so you're the big, like, he's like, yeah, I'm the big man on campus, like these guys have my back right here, and I was like, that's what I want to be. And this was like in the middle of the time when I was very alone, and I guess somewhat well known, but I wouldn't say I had friends really. I had like a good group of friends, but even then they made fun of me or stuff like that. I didn't really feel very respected. I didn't feel like a big man on campus. So then when I got to college, I was like, I want to be a big man on campus. I didn't know how true I would be with that goal, but I was like, I'm just gonna do everything I can, do what I want, and it worked out so well. And I'm really grateful for the good times I had at UTD. Coming homecoming king to almost coming in it twice, but being able to be in 2 fraternities, starting an anime club, and that's one of the coolest groups on campus. I'm so happy about that. Just all these experiences doing karate. I'm still in my gi right now. Like literally, but to all the activities, breakdancing and stuff. Like I'm really grateful for I'm grateful for the people that have been in my life, and I'm grateful for the experiences I've got so far, and I'm hopeful for great experiences too. And I guess one last thing is I would like to say I'm grateful for like the ladies who have been in my life. They show me I guess like what I'm looking for, like out of myself, and then like how to treat people, and like even though like it hasn't been the best with girls, unfortunately, any single ladies out there, yeah, like this bromantic bro host,
are we really using
like this baritone
to...
bro host? Let me have a moment, right? But it hit me up. My name is Godswill. 866. Get Mike Jones up on the locan, right? No, but I'm grateful for that. I guess I'm grateful for like the bad experiences that have been in my life, and I'm grateful for the good experiences. Like life has been great so far, and I'm grateful to be here in this country where honestly we can do things like this.
Yeah,
we can chill. We're not worried about getting destroyed any moment now. We're not. The worst thing that we're worried about is what is the worst thing we're worried about? I don't even know.
Ebola.
Not even.
No,
yeah.
No,
it's like
what happened?
I guess it's like, oh no, that girl doesn't like me, or oh no, I don't even know. What's the worst that could happen? Honestly, it's like our car breaks down.
I feel like that's like the worst question. Like, what's the worst that could happen? Like, we're gonna turn on the news tomorrow. It's gonna be like, Mecha Hitler awakens.
Damn, knock on wood. Right?
It's like Hazel's like, what have I done?
All right,
coming this summer.
Right.
The worst thing that could happen?
Right.
A sequel to The Last Airbender.
How about you, Justin? What are things you're grateful for?
It's great that you mentioned the women in your life because that's definitely something that I'm thankful for as well. I've been blessed. I can't say that I've really had a lot of really great traditional relationships. You know what I mean? The one traditional relationship that I had was great, for sure. As short-lived as it was. But even like some of my casual relationships have just been like really good to me. That whole concept of being competitive, that's actually something that was showcased by this girl who I just kind of had a fling with. Like we're just playing Pokemon Stadium, and I wouldn't just be okay with just losing. I was like, okay, we got to do this again. I have to figure out why I lost. And she's like, you're super competitive. You know that, right? And that was one of those things that just kind of clicked in my brain. And it was one of those things where I think about my entire life and why I'm good at stuff. And I was like, it's because I have the drive. That was super cool. But obviously, I want to thank, my friends, Foxon, of course, being there for me. It's good to know that I have like 14 people who just seem to always have my back. I don't know why. But they just do. And I'm so grateful for them, and they're all so great. I'm of course thankful for my family. And I feel bad because I haven't really been the best keeping in touch with them as much as I should. Just because I'm doing all kinds of things. You know what I mean? Some of them very important. Some of them I guess not as important, but they're important to me. And lastly, this is something that I posted a while back, but it's something that I need to showcase is the fact that I'm really thankful for all of my mentors and my rivals and my friends who are there to just push me to be the best version of myself that I possibly can be. What people don't know is that originally that was inspired by by my Smash Brothers Melee sensei, this guy named Taiki, who's just, oh my god, the way he plays the game is so beautiful. Like it's art, the way that he plays the game. Like the way he plays Melee is the way that I play 64, and it's just beautiful to watch. But also, I'm just so blessed to have like people like you, dude. Like people like you who just, right. just expect more of me, I need that, I really do. I really do need that. And I'm just really grateful to have like people who I can just consider family.
I'm grateful to have you, bro. You taught me to cool down and to have fun. So yeah, no, I really appreciate. And honestly, without you, this podcast would not be here. And honestly, hey, let's hope 2015 we're already in the stratosphere,
In that case, why don't we, close things off by asking the fine folks at home to list some of the things that you're thankful for. Exactly. They can be, times that you've had with your family or your friends. It could be video games, comic books, whatever you really feel like you need to be thankful for at this time. Please share with us, And if it's awesome, I'd love to read it, or watch it or consume it, and however you are supposed to consume it. And with that note, I guess it's a good place to close.
Yeah, I think so.
It's a good place to close. If you are listening to this on YouTube, you'll be able to see an annotation right now.
You really like doing that.
I love doing that. It feels like I'm a freaking wizard, bro. I'm thankful for YouTube giving me those wizardry-like powers whenever I have to make up some kind of end screen. Just click on the annotation. You can listen to another episode if you liked what you heard. And with that in mind, stay dope, folks. Happy Thanksgiving, and have a phenomenal day.